Number one, very important, right? That was the lesson that I learned right away in China, right? Don't go cheap, you know, because you get what you're going to pay for, you know. Hire the best people that you can, because those people usually, you know, the good people you hire is going to be help you to take care of your stuff, you know. You can delegate and really let them to work on the next level. Give you some salary level, just benchmarking according to what we've been doing in Hong Kong and China. In China, right, you know, if you have $1,000, what are you going to get? You know, $1,000 probably like what I said, the farmers, people who have been drivers. You know, you can probably hire a driver of $1,000. $2,000, you start getting people who can work in the retail, people who might want to come change career and come and work in the office, but these people usually can't use a computer or the English level is, you know, they probably know how to spell orange but not apple, you know, that kind of thing. $3,000 is where you can start hiring some graduates who recently graduated, and hit a bit, sometime you can get some good people to start off with. But the salary in China is increasing very rapidly. Now $4,000, you start getting, you know, some people that you might be able to use, and keep in mind that these people are going to ask for a salary raise very fast, because Shenzhen, Shanghai in China, the next time they ask you is going to ask you for $6,000 very soon. And also in China, you add 1/3 on top for all the MPF and all the benefits, government required fee, and because of the conversion rate, you're probably already looking at around $7,000, $8,000, you know, Hong Kong dollar to hire somebody, you know, who can really start to be able to help you in, you know, in Shenzhen. And keep in mind that in China, people usually only work for 8 hours because that's sort of required by the government. Otherwise, there's all this double pay and all this, you know, extra thing you have to pay for. So that's pretty much China. Now for Hong Kong, you know, for recent graduates, just to give you an example, we usually would start off with 12 grand. So, but some of my friends like to try $8,000, 10 grand. You know, I think it's a little bit low unless it's the right seasons. So really, the second tip is to hire at the right time. To hire at the right time. You know, never hire at a hurry, because that is going to get you to hire the wrong people. You know, if you quickly want someone in, that person, you know, might not be very good, but you still want it to come in. It's where you usually get into trouble. You probably want to build up what we call a talent tunnel, where you keep on having people ready when you need them. Like for example, you might want to have, you know, a group of part-time people or a group of interns who are going to graduate in a year or 6 months, so that you know that by that time you might have some turnovers, or you might have, you know, some growth in your business. These people can right away jump in and help you, right? Different seasons, for example, right now is the best time to hire graduates in Hong Kong, because people just graduated. You know, if you wait till like November, December, it's not a good time, because, you know, there won't be that many people for you to choose from. Obviously, in Hong Kong, people change jobs a lot during Chinese New Year time, and in Shenzhen or Shanghai or other cities in China, it's either after Chinese New Year or what we call after the Golden Week in China. You know, after October, people started to change jobs. Now, hiring interns, right? It's actually a pretty good strategy for entrepreneurs, and also at the same time, you know, to sort of build up a group of people who can help you later on. Some specific things about hiring interns, you know, usually people pay not very high. It's actually an area where you don't have to pay as much because of the expectations of the interns. They usually want to be here to be trained and learn stuff. So you can actually be paying like $32 as the minimum wages to $35 to start off with, and then go up to $50 as they work in your company. Again, if you're going to work with the school, actually the first 100 hours can be free. You know, you don't necessarily have to pay them if it's a related topic, but you have to work directly with the school, which is not hard because they're always looking for people to hire their students. GIS, which is one of the websites that GIS, the website that a lot of interns or graduates, you know, they just graduate 1-2 years, they will look for jobs, and it's totally free to use, so it's pretty good. Summertime right now for interns is a good time. Again, it's a good time. But again, when you work with interns, one of the things is that they might not be very interested in terms of the money, but it's really care about what are they going to be doing, right? Is it interesting, right? Is it going to be, are they going to be learning every day, right? Are they going to be trained up? Otherwise, you're going to be experiencing problems in terms of high turnover because these people require you know, to really engage them so that, you know, they will stay. Good. Okay, number three, get into the third point is different channels to attract talent. Now, I think job boards is one that it's not the most efficient, but it's convenient way to hire people. Anybody here use a job board to hire people in Hong Kong? Like Jobs TV, like Jobs TV, and you know, yeah. So you know, many times you get if you don't do it right, you're gonna get a lot of variety of different talent that might not fit you, right? You want to be very clear of what kind of benefits and what kind of offer you're gonna give. Obviously, avoid requirements so that you don't get people who are not relevant to apply for jobs. A very realistic job descriptions. That's very important because people gotta know what they're gonna do. You know, it can be very different. And you want to give them a very realistic picture of what your company is about. You know, don't overstay and tell them it's a heaven. You know, the next day when they come to work, you know, you make them to work till like, you know, 11 p.m. You know, that's not gonna work. So be very realistic. If your place is a very performance-based culture, or if your place is more towards certain values, make sure you state it very clearly in job descriptions or at the interview stage. Now, other than the job boards, right now a lot of people hire on social media. A lot of people hire on social media. Anybody here experience hiring on LinkedIn? Yes? Successful? No? Okay. Okay, now, this, you know, again, US companies, right? 92% use social media. LinkedIn, it's obviously very popular. The reason why is the functionality of it. You can easily view people's profiles and what people do, experience. And it's very good for headhunting, basically. If you want to headhunt your competitor salesperson, or you want to headhunt somebody for certain positions, it's one of the most user-friendly way of doing it. LinkedIn. Now, Facebook obviously not that easy because it's more towards personal stuff. But again, for me, I did use it for hiring. I would usually ask for a referral, just ask on Facebook. That did work as well. Twitter is more towards the US thing, but Hong Kong, the IT companies in China is a Weibo that people use. And in Hong Kong specifically, actually, we did ourselves had experience of hiring through a local forum, a forum called GeoExpat. Actually, I mean, there's plenty of those. What we did was we actually wanted somebody who is currently in Canada and coming to looking for jobs in Hong Kong. And apparently, we was able to get that person through the forum because there were people who, before they come to Hong Kong, they go on this forum and ask for, you know, referrals, things like that. And we did hire somebody that permanently helping us in Canada right now. And eventually, he will come to Hong Kong and work for us. And because for him, you know, it was tough for him to get a job like that, you know, because he's still in Canada. So we was able to manage to give a package that is, you know, that is working quite well for us. Now, I mean, some companies go very as far as like L'Oreal. They create an online game so for people to sort of play and experience as more like what you're working in L'Oreal every day, right? So they have games like that, so that when they need people, they will see who are the winners and the people who have high scores. So, but again, you know, this is just some creative things that companies has been doing of attracting talents. Now, obviously, not only online, right? Offline is also great. One of the best way is to get your employees to give you referrals, employee referrals. Anyone have experience getting employee referrals? That is great because if that actually is a good indicator as well of whether your employees is engaged and happy in your company. Because if they think your company is hell, they probably won't introduce their friend to work with, right? It's obviously that they love your company. Then they give a referral. So again, the benefit is it's number one, no cost, and number two is because it's an employee referral, so that person sort of know, this person a little bit, right? And also know that this person is going to sort of think this person is going to work, right? So you got that benefit as well in terms of of this channel. So to conclude, really is maximize different ways to find your talent. So that's the third tip. The fourth tip, okay, is really to screen your candidates and know who you are hiring. So number one, during the interview stage, if you just do the interview, usually it's a 50-50 chance. You pretty much it's flipping a coin, close your eyes, because many people, the impression might be good and they talk very well, but this probably you want to do other things as well other than the interview. Now within the interview, obviously you want to know about the candidates in terms of whether they have whether they can do the job. That's number one, right? Whether this person has the skills, competencies to do the work, and number two, more importantly, does he fit the company culture, right? You want to understand, does this person want a job or does this person want a career? What inspired this person to come to apply for this job? Would he be passionate about it? Really love your product? Especially for salespeople, right? They gotta be very passionate to influence other people, right? Does that person have that, passion about your business? That's very important. You want to know about their motives, why they want to come and work for you. Okay. Now, other than the interviews, you may want to do some reference checking, background checking. According to our survey we did, in Hong Kong, 62% of graduates admitted that they exaggerate on their resume to get their job. And 33% admitted that they exaggerate for a lot to get it. And from our own screening for our clients, 15% have some sort of problems in their educations, okay, fake diplomas. And obviously more towards, in China, so the average sort of go up a lot, in Hong Kong and other places it's sort of average. Well, I mean, to get the fake diplomas in the past is very easy. In China, actually, you can buy it anywhere, especially below the headhunters company, the executives. You can just buy it on the street, right? And, a few years ago, because China government realized it's a huge problem, so they sent out a team of people to start shutting these shops down. But you can still find them. But now, more people actually, thanks to the technology, a lot of people use the Photoshop, and apparently, we did actually seen a certificate ourselves that they just simply use a Photoshop to change stuff, the names of their friends and the names on it. But because they didn't do it very well, so you can sort of see it. So all sort of templates online you can search and use right away, very user-friendly. And in China, this word banzhen, right? If you search that terms, it means getting a diploma, right? You get tons of hits right away. Online people is only help you. Yes. Okay. And you search for the term buy a diploma. 50 million hits from Google. And you know what? I quickly click on the first one, fake diploma, diplomacompany.com. Yeah. So right away, there's this FedEx thing. You can get it from 24 hours, and all these different transcripts you need, and all the different schools you can choose from. And they have a 3-year plan guarantee. So if you need something, for example, to people to verify you, they can actually have a fax service. If you fax over a verification request, they will fax it back. It's sort of like a annual subscription. So it's an ongoing thing. And, they pick up all these fake websites to do that for candidates. So so really 2 years, yeah. And then also I worked with a reporter. A year or two ago from Hong Kong Economic Times, because he said he wanted to make a story about this, right? And he went to Shenzhen and buy some diplomas, and apparently this one is fake, this one is real, but they actually present to me. Sometimes I can't recognize. So in China, it's kind of expensive. It's $2,800 that reporter bought it from Shenzhen. I think he was probably in a rush. He can probably buy it for cheaper. So some people does use it. The China people told him that it's actually Hong Kong is very popular, the University of Hong Kong, and the University of in the US and Canada is also very popular because it's hard to check because you're already sleeping at that time. How are you going to make a phone call to Canada or US? Right? So a lot of people buy Hong Kong U, or the universities in US and UK. So because of that, probably you want to do some reference checking, background checking, right? Number one, you want to check their work history. For example, if they say they work in Microsoft for 10 years, you want to give them a call. Make sure you know about their job performances from their previous supervisors. Education, like what I said, check that out. Criminal records for positions that is sensitive. Bankruptcy credits, you may want to check that if it's a financial related roles or people giving you money. If it's a CEO type of people, you want to check if this person is on the blacklist or sanction list so that you cannot take on certain positions. So you want to quickly check those. Usually, it's not going to take you a long time. It's going to be a week or so for all the results to come back. Now, psychometric testing tools. Any of you guys use any psychometric tools? Yeah, it's actually very good tools that for coaching is also very good for your team. To certain tools, for example, like disc profiling, MBTI is good for coaching and training. For hiring, there's usually it's more questions. It's usually 100 questions or 200 questions. Companies like Harrison Assessments, self-management groups, SHL, those are more popular. It ranges from $800 to $3,000. It can go a little bit expensive, but it's kind of useful. You can right away know what the tendency of this person is. For example, if it's because I did one myself as a salesperson, right? They would tell you right away that rather this person is how likely or any barriers in sort of cold calling or meetings ability, willingness to follow up. It will tell you pretty much the tendency of what this person like to do. So it sort of paint the picture for you as well. So I think it's pretty good that actually for me, my entire team did all the psychometric testing. It's because I want to make sure everybody know the other person's style. So and also the weakness in their own style, so that they can watch out. Like for example, for me, I talk a lot, in general, and I need to watch out because I'm wasting people's time in the company, but when I get what do you call nervous or pressured, I become a little bit more. I become very result-oriented. I talk less. People would be scared, and you want your team to know about the behaviors. So that right now I tell my team that I'm sort of like that. I watch out you guys, make sure you don't get scared, right? So that's actually something that it's good for hiring, and then you can also use that for later on for team building and coaching, psychometric testing tools. So at the end, throughout all these tools, all these interviews that you want to do, you want to make sure you hire people who fit your cultures. Again, be able to deliver. That's very important. Now, number 5 is to create your employer branding. What is it about employer branding, right? We talk about our brands, right? But how does it happen to an employer branding, right? It's basically everything that you do. Like when I'm talking here today, about my experience or what's happening in my company. The TV interviews you do, right? Everything that you do, that you say, it's building up people. Building up a group of people out there to talk about your company. People who left your company will talk about your company. So your employer branding sort of comes. And for us, actually, we hire a lot of graduates and interns. Okay, and one of the interns told me that we have an employer branding that even though for that we are not a place for people to fool around, because we have a lot of work to do. It's usually people who want to learn stuff and work will come to my company. So we already actually, because we hire a lot from a few universities, so we have the employer branding that they self-select. If they don't want to work hard, don't come. Actually I don't want them, right? But if you come to the interview, you're being prepared, right? And I tell them up front in the interview that it's going to be hard work, right? You're going to learn a lot, but you've got to work hard because that's what everybody's doing. You're going to compete with the other people in terms of how you can deliver and your work. The candidate experience, a lot of people talk about it, that it's sort of the hot topic these days. Well, basically it's about how responsive you are, right? How user-friendly it is for people to get back to you and the online thing. So the candidate experience, you can pretty much, to do it right, basically to think about it from the candidate's point of view. If you're a candidate, would you like the cycle to be long, wait for 2 months? Hopefully not, right? You want it to be fast, right? And you want it to be able to do it fast and at the same time get enough information and good information for you to make a good and right decision. And finally, the last tip, very, very important, is me and a lot of my friends who do that is to set the right expectations for the new hire as soon as possible, and let them know about the career path. I do that actually as early as in the interview stage, so people sort of know what's going on, and I will do it again in the orientation, so that they sort of know more about your company, your values, your missions, and about how they're going to progress in your company. This is especially important if you're going to hire young people, because a lot of young people, they want to make sure they know what's going on, what's the career, if they're going to stay here, what are they're going to get trained up on. So that's very important. So that's basically the 7 tips I have for you. I'd like to reserve some time for questions if you have any. And thank you very much for all your attention. If you could ask any questions.